Hello, everybody. I'm Alex,
And I'm Alex.
and this is our podcast, Joel.
Joel? I forgot to think of a thing.
Yeah, I did too.
Well, hopefully last episode when we actually remembered to do something
I
and
hope it was
screwed it up
funny.
because the recording was messed up. Hopefully that satisfied everybody
Yep,
because it may never happen again. We're not that.
we're not that funny, unfortunately.
Yeah, we're not good enough at this.
Yeah, I was telling my mom that I was listening to the How Did This Get Made podcast.
Yeah.
Where I was like, she was like, "What is that?" I'm like, "Oh, they watch bad movies and make fun of them." And I'm like, she was like, "Didn't you guys do that in like SPS?" And I'm like, "Yeah, but they're like act like professional comedians, so they're a lot funnier."
Yeah, it's difficult to live up to those expectations.
All right. So welcome to episode, was this 12?
It is 12. Um, and I know that because I've got 9 episodes uploaded and 2 not uploaded still from the past couple weeks. I have just
Well,
not gotten around to that yet, and I probably should because I think we said that we would start doing this weekly.
yeah, I'm sure our large audience is, anxiously waiting for the last two podcasts.
Yeah, they've got no idea what went wrong. So to everybody
I
who's
mean,
listening to this now, I sort of apologize, but also I
well, the
don't
thing is,
feel bad.
if there were actually anyone following our podcast, the thing is, they wouldn't know that we had actually done any, because I mean, anyone who was, let's suppose that they were at Purdue and they knew that we were doing this before,
Right?
and they somehow found our channel, even though it's not named what we said it would be named. Um, they would be like, okay, here's the 9 from when they were at Purdue. Like, I wonder if they're
Yeah,
gonna do anymore.
yeah, right. It wouldn't.
They're gonna be really excited
Yeah,
once we
I
upload these.
maybe we should. No, never mind. That's not a.
All
No.
right, so it's episode 12. Here's our weekly reminder: Nathan does not owe me $1.
Yep.
And yeah, moving on. Philadelphia sports update. Um, they've been doing decently recently. Decently recently. I
Nice.
think they lost today, but they won yesterday.
That's decent.
Yep. And that is all. Did you listen to a song this week?
All right. I did listen to a song this week, but I only listened to it one time. Um,
That's
so
how
I'm not
bad.
gonna. No, it was actually pretty good. I think I liked it better than last week's song. But I'm not gonna. Given that I didn't give it a whole lot of time, and about like 6.5 minutes long and it was like a jazz song, so that it I don't want to offend anybody by attempting to give some like very broad generalizations of a complex song having only listened to it once. So I promise to find some time to give that one a deeper dive in this next week, and then we'll come back to it next time. It
Cool.
turns out the reason that I did that, by the way, is um, this entire week at work has been pretty like self-guided. I've been going through basically these gigantic PDFs of um, learning how to use the software that may eventually be relevant to me in my day-to-day job. I suspect that some of the things that I've been doing are not directly relevant, but it's useful background knowledge. But anyway, I can't focus on a gigantic PDF if I'm listening to anything. Like I can't listen to podcasts or music.
Right.
Otherwise, I just like those are way more interesting than being in my fifth hour of looking at this PDF. So, um, yeah, so I've had to find time outside to look at those things, and it's been a busy week.
Sorry about that.
All right, I thought I lost audio for a second there, but maybe we were
Yeah.
just
No, I just
Anything?
had to do something real quick.
All right, that's fine. Let's get to our main topic this week, which, if you remember from last week, which I guess how could you do that because it's not posted? But I mean, maybe you're listening to these with a little bit of gap in between. I don't know. We're going to talk about.
It takes them a week to recover from each episode.
I could see that. Like you listen to an episode, you like get your hopes up. You're like, man, this is gonna be great. You listen to it, and you're like, that was so bad. But
it's so bad, and then
kind of forget.
So yeah, over the course of the next week, you psych yourself up for the next episode.
At the end of each episode, we're like, don't worry, guys, the next one will be better, and then it's just not.
An abusive relationship with our listeners.
Yeah, I mean, that honestly describes it pretty well, I think.
Sorry, guys.
Yep.
You're fucked. We're not getting any better.
Yeah, also, we're not sorry. So this week we're going to be talking about The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild, which was we've been playing this past week in a kind of a speed run fashion. I wouldn't really call it a speed run because we're not like good at that. But
well, it is a speed run because we're trying to complete the game as fast as possible.
Yeah.
That's what a speed run is.
Yeah. I mean, yeah.
We're just okay. I think your issue is that saying speed run makes it sound like there's speed involved.
That's true, right? There's for me
there,
at least,
there is not.
There's a lot of stupid dying because I'm trying to complete the game without like getting stuff. So all of the stuff, I can't tell you, by the way, how many times I jumped off something really tall on the plateau before I got the paraglider thinking that I could just glide down. Like, that happened so many, like, I should have learned after the first time, but it definitely happened multiple times after that. And I would just fall and lose my 3 hearts and then flop around on the ground and but as you know, if you've been following along with the speedrun, sorry, I can't imagine you haven't been watching those as well. I am now off the plateau, so hopefully my stupid deaths due to falling will be non-existent, far overshadowed by my stupid deaths doing other things.
Yeah, so quick speedrun update for all of our listeners. So for me, I've completed my speed run because I have no life.
Right. That's not to imply that I do have a life, but my family came to visit me, so.
No, I mean, I completed the speed run before this weekend, so I don't know what you were doing during the week, but I have no life, so I was playing the speed run. So yeah, I finished. I'm not revealing my time yet for Nathan's benefit, but I did say it's between 5 and 10 hours, so that gives you a ballpark of how bad it was.
Yeah. I think for context, if you don't know, I don't remember the exact number, but I think the world record is around 30 minutes. Is that correct?
Yeah, the world record, I believe, is about 25 minutes.
Oh, jeez.
So both of us are actually completing the story mode, though. And I believe the world record for completing the story mode is about 2 hours. So it's not as bad as it sounds.
Right. At least, well, it kind of is, right? Like, you've maybe got a factor of 2 or 3 in there still, but.
Right, but it's not as bad as comparing it to 25 minutes.
True. Yeah, okay. All right, that's fair. And the good news is, at least for me, because I will be recording all of my run and posting it to this channel in its entirety. That means you get like 5 to 10 hours of my brilliant commentary in addition to
So you're commentating as you do it?
Yeah, I mean, it's not like good commentary, but I've been, just talking about what I'm doing, what I'm thinking about doing in the future.
Right.
Giving time updates every once in a while just because I don't want to like edit in a timer on the screen or something.
Right.
If there's literally any demand for it, I might like condense all of the boring stuff of me running around and falling off stuff and dying and stuff like that, and just like go from major story point to story point so you can kind of see.
I can tell you in advance, there's not going to be any demand for that.
Yeah. I just thought that, if
Okay, so yeah, so our regular listeners will remember that last week we said we were going to record it. Wait, did we say that on the podcast last week?
I think so. I don't really remember.
Okay, well, last week we said we were going to record it, and I had some trouble. So I recorded the first I think 2 hours or so
Yeah.
of the game, but then my phone really just stopped wanting to record. I had one time where my phone overheated.
Wow.
I had one time where my phone ran out of space, and numerous times where my phone just shut off in the middle of recording, not died, just turned went into sleep mode or hibernate or whatever. So after a certain point, I just gave up on recording the game. So if people want, I can post the first 2 hours, but
Yeah.
yeah, I didn't.
So actually, until just now, you describing that, when you told me about those issues, I was picturing your old phone, but you just got a Pixel, right?
Yeah.
I'm kind of surprised that that's a thing that would do. That's really strange.
Yep. Well, anyway.
Yeah. Sorry to massively disappoint our audience.
Yeah, I know. It was very demanded. Honestly, it's a real shame I didn't record my fight against Ganon because it was a masterpiece.
Yeah.
No. So did you complete the final battle in your other game?
No, I don't. I'm pretty sure that I'm going to do it in the speedrun first at this pace.
All right. Well, then I will not say anything about it.
All right.
Yeah.
We'll be able to talk about it next week, maybe.
Yeah, next week. So anyway, okay, I have two things. First is I wanted to say on your commentary thing, if anyone had been watching mine, all they would have been hearing is profuse cursing whenever I messed up. There's no commentary. It would just be me dying to a guardian in the minor Tester Strike, being like, son of a bitch.
Yeah, that's roughly what my playthroughs go like when I'm actually playing the game. But for this this run in particular, I've been trying to emulate I guess a very bad Twitch streamer that just kind of says what's happening.
Right.
That's about all that I initially thought about having some other kind of thing to discuss to fill the time, but I don't think it's really worth it.
Right. All right. So that's the status on our speed runs.
Right.
Did we want to say anything about speedrunning the game? Oh yeah, you had a comment on that.
Yeah, let's talk about speedrunning the game for a couple minutes here. So in doing this, for those of you who maybe I've just never said this, to give you the context, I've been playing my original playthrough of the game since I got the game maybe a month or two ago. I've had, I don't know, 90 or so hours into this playthrough. I've been exploring stuff and not in a huge rush to complete the game. I've been I think, end game caliber materials and things for several weeks now. I just have chosen to not go and finish things up. I've been really interested in a lot of the side content. And then to really contrast that, playing through this speed run has been really I feel like I'm missing out on all that stuff. So I think obviously the point of the speed run is to get through it as quickly as you can, but I kind of don't like doing that because there was all the stuff that I did in my other games that I won't get to do.
Right. Yeah, and I was thinking that I didn't have that issue because I played through this game when I first got it like I guess it was in January of last year. No,
Yeah.
I guess it was this year. It seems like longer ago, but
Right. Right.
so when I went back, I kind of forgot how much content there was, and so after I finished my speed run, oh my gosh, okay, anyway, after I finished my speed run, I uh I went back and started playing through all the additional stuff, which there is quite a bit of.
Yeah.
Um, so and yeah, so I didn't really have that, feeling lacking experience. By the way, I just realized that this screenshot that I showed you earlier,
Uh
in-game time is 4:20 a.m.
huh.
That's why I
Nice.
just said, "Oh my gosh!" I was just looking at 4:20.
uh, yeah, that's I'm impressed by how much stuff there is in the game, as because it's not like it can't be procedurally generated. Somebody had to go and
Right?
put
Yeah.
each piece of whatever it is in the gigantic map. It's really really interesting how they put it all together.
Yeah. So this game actually took 5 years to develop. I looked it up,
That's
and
ridiculous.
it was supposed to only take 3 years,
Yeah.
and it was delayed 2 times because of the physics engine.
Huh.
They're trying to get the physics engine right.
That's interesting because physics engines don't seem like a super complicated thing to me because like it's just implementing classical physics and that's just a couple like principles to I don't know what a physics engine is. That's basically why I'm
Right.
surprised that it takes so
I
long.
mean, like just all the ways that things in the game interact are part of it. Like
Yeah.
the fact that if you know, throw a metal sword at someone in a lightning storm, they get struck with lightning. Like that's part of, even though that's not
Wait,
necessarily like a
wait,
physics
wait.
thing
Hold
per
up.
se.
If
What?
you if you throw a metal sword at someone, you can make them get struck by lightning?
I mean, it'll strike the sword with lightning, but if you throw it at them, then they're right there. They also get struck with lightning.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
How do you? So I'm pretty sure if I tried to do that though, I would mistime it, and either like not just lightning would strike somewhere and that wouldn't be cool, or I would get struck with lightning.
Well, the thing, I mean, it helps you time it because the lightning before it strikes you, it goes. Choo, 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 choo,
Yeah.
choo.
So my question is, when do you throw? Like, do you
Oh,
know?
no. So I didn't actually do this. I just
Oh,
read this.
okay.
I just read somewhere that you could do that, but that's just like an
Oh,
example.
oh, okay. I it's like, how am I supposed to compete in this speed run if you're out here throwing swords at people to get them struck by lightning and
Now I kind of want to try it though.
right? I kind of so I don't know if this would be a good idea because we may get super distracted, but I wonder if it would be useful to like actually be playing the game to talk about some of the things that we come across.
What do you mean, play the game like while we're
Like right now, like if I got the game out and was just like messing around and not like trying to do anything in particular, but just doing stuff.
right? So how about this? Right now we're at 19 minutes in our podcast.
All
I
right.
suspect we will not spend 40 more minutes talking about this game. So we finish up the podcast, and then as a separate video, we just take out the game and start playing it and talking about it.
All right, so we'll have an exclusive special Let's Play podcast, which seems like a super bad, like listening to someone play a video game.
Right. I don't really think anyone will be interested in watching it, but I kind of want to do it. I mean, we don't even have to record it. We could just do it.
We could, yeah, but we should totally record it.
Yeah, for all our fans who really like
Yeah,
to see every aspect of our lives. By
that's
the
what
way,
it's when you're a certain level of famous. It doesn't matter what you do anymore, right?
everyone wants to
Just
see
do
it.
whatever,
Yeah.
and everyone wants to see it. I feel like we're basically there. Like
Yeah,
we have that level of fame.
I think you're right.
Yeah, I mean, my personal experience walking around town, everybody, I can tell they're trying really hard to not
Not talk
freak
to you,
out
right?
about, it being me. You
Yeah,
know,
my coworkers did a pretty good job of that, not like saying anything about my internet fame. They kind of like take me at face value, which is pretty impressive, honestly.
right now that you mention it, I'm impressed with I've met several people who, thinking about their personality, that seems to me like maybe one of the first things they would mention, but they played it very cool. I'm impressed. Honestly, I'm looking at people in a whole new way now.
Cool. All right, I want to say two things about this game.
Yeah.
First, these aren't really about the game. These are about how bad I am at it. So the first time I played through the game, okay, so I said this earlier before we were recording, but there are 900 Korok seeds in this game.
Right, yeah.
Before the first time I played through this game, you know how many Korok seeds I found? I found one.
One? Are you serious?
I'm dead serious. I found one Korok seed in the whole game.
I mean, okay. How? I can't even think of any sort of more complex question than just how.
I mean, mostly thing was I just like wasn't even thinking about them. Like in the beginning of the game, I went and talked to that person who gives you the quest to find the Korok seeds.
Yeah.
But I wasn't really looking for them ever. And so there's some places where there's like a shrine out in the middle of the ocean.
Yeah.
And there's like a Korok seed thing on there.
Uh-huh.
And I didn't even care about it, or I stepped on it and it starts that circle thing where you have to go there, and I just didn't know what that was, or
right, yeah.
Like I never was in a situation where I picked up like a rock or whatever and found a Korok seed.
Huh.
So and like once that happens, you're like, oh, there's just Korok seeds like around.
Yeah, I guess I just did that early on by accident, and then became invested in finding a bunch of them.
Yeah. So yeah,
I wasn't even thinking about this at first, but having only found one Korok seed, it must have been a gigantic pain having like the regular size inventory all the way through the game, right?
I mean, looking back, yes, but at the time I was just like, this is how the game is.
So, I mean, but like, that's fair, but isn't it super difficult when all of your weapons just continuously break like they do to like...
I mean, the thing is, at least my experience having a larger inventory, I don't know what I'm trying to say is that like it's not like, oh, having a larger inventory has allowed me to have better weapons. It's just allowed me to keep weapons that I might not have otherwise kept and maybe eventually use. But like,
yeah,
when you have like 5 or 6 weapon slots or whatever it is you start with, which is, I mean, you find weapons quickly enough that it's not like you're ever like out of weapons.
right.
It's just you oftentimes have to leave weapons that you otherwise probably would have or should have taken.
Yeah, I think part of the reason I feel this way is I think I've gotten better about it now that I've played a little bit and learned a little bit, but some of the bigger kind of like pseudo bosses that you find like the guardians in the shrines, the test of strength shrines, and also just like regular guardians, and then some of the bigger enemies, like any of the silver enemies that just have a bunch of health. I fight them very inefficiently. Like you just go up and whack them with whatever you've got until that thing breaks, and then you move on to the next thing and fight them with that until that breaks. So I feel like having fewer weapons would just make those encounters more challenging because you run out of stuff at some point.
Yeah, I think the difference here is that I probably just avoided as much more of those fights than you did.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not trying to imply. I actually commented on this in my my speed running because I'm back to the basic inventory and all that. um, toward the beginning of the game, and to a lesser degree now, I think in my main playthrough. But I like to avoid fighting
Right.
because I'm not very good at it. So like if it's intelligent enemies or something, there's like a pretty real chance, no matter what it is that I'm fighting, that it'll kill me. So
Yep.
I just stay away from it.
Yeah, I've gotten pretty good at those test of strength shines with all the dodge, like perfect like dodging and stuff. But
Right.
when I
Yeah.
come into like the real game and fight like one of those Moblins or whatever, I'm
Yeah.
just like Daruk's protection.
I discovered, by the way, that will reflect the guardian beams back
Yeah.
no matter what. Whereas if you don't have that, you have to like do the parry to swing your shield to reflect them back at it.
Actually, also if you have a guardian shield, it will reflect them. Oh, unless you mean like the big guardians.
Yes, the big guardians.
Yeah. Actually, I didn't even know you could parry those back. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, I actually I learned that from David at Purdue. I never like thought
Yeah.
at that point that I would need to like know that because I didn't have a Switch or much
Right.
interest in playing the game. But then I got the game and obviously liked it a lot. But so I've like known that all along. I just wasn't any good at it until fairly recently.
Right. Yeah. I actually found out this playthrough that the Master Sword actually like works on Guardians.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that. I think it's probably because last time I didn't get the Master Sword until like towards the very end.
Uh-huh.
But since I got it like very early this time because I was getting it for my final battle in the speed run.
Yeah.
Now I have a chance to use it, and it's like extremely effective against Guardians.
Yeah, I the ones that don't have legs, I think I've worked out that if you just whack them with it, you can, even if they focus on you immediately, you can kill them before they get their first shot off.
Right. So yeah. My issue is that I don't like really know if I want much of the ancient tech other than the arrows. Because like the armor,
Yeah.
I mean, like I just said, I'm pretty good against Guardians already. I don't really know if I need the armor for that.
Right.
And then like the swords, like I could pay 2,000 rupees or whatever it is and turn in all this stuff to get a good sword, but like sure it would just break after a little while. Like
Yeah.
it doesn't seem like it's that worth it. So the only thing that I'm really interested, and so I have like all of the, honestly, like I have so much stuff. Like I have 4 pages of stuff in my inventory, and it's like I don't want to sell it because I don't know what's required to upgrade my clothing.
Yeah. I've done that.
Which, by the way, I also didn't find in my first playthrough of the game.
You didn't find the fairy fountains or anything?
The fairy who upgrades your clothing, yeah.
Yeah. They I didn't realize what that was. That was one of the I remember this was like a month and a half ago when I first started out the game. When you get to Kakariko Village, they're telling you about like this fountain.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, what are you talking about? What the heck's going on? And then I went up and I was like, oh, it's a shrine. And so I did the shrine and then came back and they're still like, side quests, do this thing. And I was like, well, all right. So if you go back up, you have to go past the shrine.
I actually didn't realize that was it either. I also didn't realize, having now played through the game 2 times and in the middle of a 3rd time, that there was more than one. I've only found one.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I haven't found the one that you're talking about, so I guess spoilers for me.
I was gonna say, I just assumed that this was going to be a spoil whatever you want podcast, but
yeah. Well, the thing is, like, there's so much stuff in the game. I now realize that I didn't play like enough of the game my first time through, which is why I'm excited to play through it again.
Right.
And I'm sure I'm still missing a bunch of stuff.
Yeah, that's essentially why I am still playing my first playthrough despite being I think easily powerful enough to just finish it off is because I feel like I'm still missing out on so much that I could have. And it's just fun to run it. Like, I don't start playing with a purpose a lot of the times. I just start playing and run around and I'm like, oh, here's some side quest that I could go knock out, or
Right.
I should go hunt for shrines today or something like that.
I honestly think it's impressive how they've made so many shrines. Not because, I mean, obviously because of trying to place 120 shrines in this map is impressive.
Right, yeah.
But also, like, coming up with an actual challenge to put into, I mean, obviously not all of them have challenges, because some of them have challenges to getting them, which I guess is the challenge itself.
Yeah.
But, like, okay, actually, by the way, real quick, you did the Korok trials, right?
Yes, I've done those.
That follow quest is the most annoying quest in any game I have ever played. Like, I was lucky this time because I had some memory of like it from the last time I did it.
Yeah.
But like the first time, like first playthrough when I did that, it must have taken me so many tries to. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's so frustrating because it's like dark and foggy and the thing you're following is tiny.
And it's the same color as the grass.
And you have to not be noticed, which means you have to like not look at it.
You can look at it, you just can't get that close to it.
Right. So I agree. That was one of the more frustrating things that I've done in this game. I think maybe next on the frustration level, two things actually that are both related to the same thing, is rain, which number one makes it impossible to climb, which is ridiculous because
climbing is half the game.
Yeah, it's such a like I'll stand around for 4 in-game hours waiting for it to quit raining. I'll just stand there right next to the cliff that I need to climb up.
This playthrough, I've gotten much more liberal with my the abilities you get from the champions.
Yeah.
Like, I'll just be like going to a tower and I'll be like, "Yep, I'm not climbing this," and I'll just Revali scale like 90% of the way.
Yeah.
All right, anyway,
it's now that I've in my main playthrough I've fixed all of the divine beasts and I've got all of the runes upgraded on the Sheikah slate and everything. It's kind of crazy how many like superpowers that Link has that I just kind of forget to use a lot of the time.
Right.
I'll just be like running around and doing stuff regularly. Like swimming is another thing that happens to me all the time. It's like I'll spend forever swimming across something and then think like, oh, I should have just made a magic ice path.
Yeah, I didn't. That's added to the list of things I didn't realize until this playthrough. Like, this playthrough is the first time I was like, oh, I need to cross this water. I could just use this ice pillars to cross the water.
Yeah.
I think there's one shrine, I don't know if you found it or not, with like it's like water like flowing to one side. So the first one is just like water flowing to one side to the left, and you have to cross it. And then the second, have you found the shrine?
Oh, is it? I think I don't remember at what point it was, but I think there was like an oval of water flowing with some bomb barrels in it.
Yeah. So the reason I mentioned it is because I just like iced over to the area and threw a bomb at it. I was like, I feel like you're supposed to like throw a bomb in the water and then wait for it next to a barrel and then like wait for it to get around, or maybe you're supposed to. I don't know what it expected you to do, but I just like used the ice pillars to go over there and throw a bomb at it.
Yeah, that's basically what I did too. It was kind of like a lot of the times in shrines like that, like I'll see what you're supposed to do.
Right.
And then even if I can think of like a slightly better way to do it, that way is probably like pretty difficult.
Right.
So
there was another one. It's like there's a shrine where it's like you have a ball and what you're supposed to do is like use the like fan blowers to like blow it to the goal,
I just did that one this week.
Yeah, and while that's happening, you're supposed to like run to the platform that goes up.
Right.
But I just like picked up the ball, ran to the end, froze it, and then ran to the platform that goes up, and then it went into the end, and I just.
That's brilliant.
Yeah. I was like, I'm not sure what this iron block is for.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm supposed to do something with it.
Right. I actually because I don't know if you remember, along the back wall there's a chest. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
And you can put the iron blocks in kind of like the divot in the pathway to the chest and then like walk across them to get back there. What I did to make that work, because the iron blocks would have blocked some of the fans, instead of freezing it, which seems like a smarter way to do it, I just like set the ball down near the edge, and it turned out that was far enough away from the actual fan so that it wouldn't blow. And then I would grab one of the iron blocks with the magnet and like brush it in, and then set the iron block back where it needed to go. The catch with that was, once you brushed it in, the platform would move, and since you're moving, you would drop the block with the magnet. So you had to like brush it, let go of it so that it wouldn't like tumble off the thing, and it would still be within reach of the magnet once you were up top. It was a whole maneuver that I had to try like 5 or 6 times, and just freezing it in place sounds a whole lot smarter now.
Yeah, I think that's one of the great things about this game, is how many different ways you can go about doing things.
Right. It's really really rewarding to come up with sneaky things that may not have been how it was expected to be done, but it's like a nice easy method. You don't feel like you're cheating the game because it's still just regular mechanics that you're taking advantage of.
Be the way, another thing to add to the list of things that I missed on my first playthrough was today is the first time, not only my first playthrough, the speed run, and then, about, like many hours of gameplay up until now.
Yeah.
Today I surfed on my shield for the first time, which I had to look up how to do it because I didn't know how to do it.
Yeah.
And I had to do it because there's one Korok seed that you have to do it to get.
Right. I took a little while to learn the shield surfing at that seed. I found that one as well, because I would start off like I would hit it, and then I would try and like paraglide down, and I'd be maybe 2/3 of the way there when it would run out, and I was like, how are you supposed to?
Yeah.
And like the speed effect doesn't help. I don't know.
Yeah.
So. But yeah, that's a fun. I wish it didn't break your shields. I wish things didn't break.
Yeah.
Although I appreciate the extra layer of the game that adds in.
Yes.
So like.
Yeah, I'm actually very happy that happens, because otherwise you would just like get the best stuff and that would be it. You'd be like,
yeah.
Okay, what now?
Right. I agree. It's good. I think I've seen people complain about like the balance of it, maybe you'd say, where like things seem to break a lot more quickly than they should. But to me that makes a whole lot of sense if you're going to do it that way. Like,
right.
The amount of time where I find a weapon and can't pick it up because my inventory is full is a lot higher than the amount of time I spend with empty slots in my inventory because stuff broke and I couldn't replace it. So
right, exactly.
It does make sense.
That's actually kind of what I was saying earlier when you were like, how did you manage with the basic inventory the whole game?
Yeah.
It's never really short on weapons.
Right.
Despite that.
I have this, I think maybe it's just like a mental thing where I want to have a bunch of weapons, but I want them all to be pristine. Like I don't want to use the stuff that I have because I have it and it's all good. And if I use it, it'll go away and then I won't have it anymore.
Yep.
But that's just the cycle of this game.
I also love the random like pointless things they put in the game that honestly someone must have spent a couple hours or a couple days making. Like I don't know if you found it, but there's like a golf game. Did you find that?
Where?
It's like in the canyon somewhere.
Okay. I don't think I found
the only way I found it is because there's a shrine that's like down inside the canyons.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I'm not gonna bother like teleporting somewhere. I'm gonna see if I can like find a way out just by running through the canyons.
Yeah.
But so you run through and there's just like this crap, I already forgot what they're called. The people who live in the mountains, what are they called? Gorons?
The big guys?
Yeah.
Yeah, Goron.
Yeah, there's like a Goron down there and he's like here's a ball and see if you can get it to that hole in 20 or less hits. And it's like it's a big waste because your weapons break doing it and you have to like I guess if you're like really good you can get like rupees from it. But like I just got the fee that I paid to play back. I was like, all right, I don't need to break any more weapons doing this.
Yeah.
But it's like kind of cool that someone spent time putting that in the game.
I agree. Yeah, I haven't found that one, which kind of surprises me because I spend a lot of time. Okay, first of all, the teleporting is great because the map is giant, but I do also like to spend time walking around so that I could find things.
Yep.
Which is why I'm surprised that I haven't seen that yet. I guess I really shouldn't be surprised. It's a gigantic map, but anyway, I have come across a couple other things like that. Have you been to Eventide Island?
Oh, is that the one where you have to like give up all your stuff?
Yes.
Yeah, so I haven't been there this playthrough, but I did go to that in my first playthrough.
Yeah, that actually really surprised me when I got there. I was like, oh, this will be neat. Let's check this out. And it's like, all right, we'll steal everything you've got. And then
it's honestly so depressing. Like
yeah.
You think you're like really good at the game, but then all your stuff gets taken and you're like, I suck at the game.
Yeah, I'm terrible at this. The red bokoblins are killing me again. This is sad. But at the end of that, once you complete the island quest and get the shrine, up on top of the hill where the shrine is, there's a Rito that it's the same sort of thing. You pay them a fee, and then there's like a flying course you go through.
Oh, interesting.
Like that.
I don't remember if I did that or not. It sounds familiar, but I can't say I specifically remember. That's pretty cool, though.
Yeah, it's like rings that are arranged in kind of a tunnel-ish thing through the sky.
Right.
And you glide through the rings, and then you have to, like, once you get through a stage of the rings, you take an updraft back up and go through more rings, and it's basically however many you get through determines how much he pays you back again. So it's also funny when I first try things like that and I'm like not good at them, they'll like make fun of you for being bad at the thing.
Yep.
So
oh, okay, can I say something I found? Okay,
yeah.
I don't know if you found this. It's a shrine and it's like just in plain sight, but it's surrounded by flowers.
Yeah.
Squirrel planted. Holy shit, that was the weirdest thing I've ever seen.
That
like,
one was pretty freaky.
I don't know what you have to do to trigger it, I guess, but like at least what I did is I messed up a couple times, and then when I came out of the shrine, I was like, I don't care because I've done the shrine. So I walked in the flowers, and she just became an evil, like a demon or something. Like not like literally, but like you know what I mean, right?
I know what you mean because I actually I screwed up enough times before making it to the shrine that she did that to me.
That's terrifying.
Yeah, it's probably right up there with like walking into a room and realizing that it's full of guardians. That's like the amount, or like rounding a corner and there's a Lionel, and that girl with the flowers.
Yep.
Those are the scariest experiences in the game.
I'm actually in the middle of the other scary experience, which is that forest that's completely dark, or the ruins that are completely dark.
What?
Oh, you haven't done that yet?
I think I've heard somebody mention them, but I haven't actually done it.
Yeah. It's like you just like get to the entrance and it's like, here you go. It's completely dark. Go find the shrine.
Do you get like,
Yeah, they give you a torch.
oh, you get a torch, so you've got like a little patch of light?
Yeah, you got a little patch of light, but if you like lose it, like if like there's like a little raised lip like of just like ruins or whatever, and if you
Okay.
like walk on it, you like put the torch away, and then you're just in complete darkness in the middle of this thing, and you're like, fuck.
Do you just pull out a flint and wood?
Yeah, that's what I did. Although I don't use flint anymore, now that I have fire arrows. But
Oh yeah, or the fire swords will do it, right?
yep. But like, yeah, I was like, all right, I'm just in the middle of like, there's a couple like in the beginning at least, there's a couple like places where you can light the fire with your
Yeah.
torch. But I just like went far enough away from those that's like it's completely dark. I have no way of knowing where I am. I'm just gonna have to light a fire here, and then you get attacked, and you're like, the fuck.
Right.
So yeah, it's you should you'll know what I mean when you get to it.
Right. That sounds pretty wild. I'll have to find where they were. I don't want you to tell me because that's part of it, right? But
Right.
I do remember I ran into somebody who said like, "Oh, they're beyond the mountain here, such and such place. There's these dark ruins all the time." And I was like, "All right, add that to the list of like 30 side quests that I'll investigate eventually."
Yeah, the thing about side quests is they're just like seem like they're more work than I'm willing to put in. Like
Yeah.
the guy's like, go find my 4 friends, and I'm like, I have no idea where to even start looking.
The one that did that for me was in the Zora village. There's a guy who's like I think it's only like becomes a quest after you free the divine beast there, but he's like, my wife went out before the divine beast freaked out and then got washed away in the river. What's the river called? Whatever the river is called.
Mm-hmm.
And so he was like, "Will you go find her?" And I was like, "Yeah, obviously I'll go find her. That sounds like an interesting way to play the game." And he's like, "Great. She could be literally anywhere along the river or in the gigantic lake at the end of the river."
Yeah, there's that bird bard basically who goes around and he sings like riddles about the different areas. What?
With the accordion?
Yeah.
Yeah.
First of all, let me just say that the song that he plays when you're just near him before you talk to him is like very good. I like it.
It is.
But second of all is the one where it's like, I don't know if you've been to it, you probably have, but the one where it's like the jaws of the snake or whatever, jaws of the dragon have a shrine. Have you been to that one?
That doesn't sound familiar, but it doesn't mean I haven't.
It's like there's, I mean, this is I guess a tiny spoiler.
Yeah.
But like basically there's a river that like looks like a serpent and you have to like go to the end of it.
Huh.
And once you get there, still just a minor spoiler because I don't know how to finish it. you kill all these enemies and you get to the end and Hylia is like, bring me the scales from, I don't even remember. It's like something's name, scales, that's given to you by the golden spirit. And I'm just like, I am never going to get this without looking it up. It's like, I have zero clue what this is at all referring to.
Yeah. Yeah, there's been several things like that I've encountered. What was I? Oh, have you? Oh crap! What are they called? The Leviathans. Have you talked to some guys at a stable who are looking for Leviathan bones?
Oh, I feel like I maybe at one time did, but that was like, I don't know. I don't really know. Not really.
Okay. Basically, they give you a side quest that is like, go take pictures of Leviathan bones. And they're like, they can be found here, here, and here. And I was like, okay, cool. So I went to one of the places and like eventually found one and took a picture and brought it back. And they were like, great. Where's the ones from the other places? And I was like, you wanted me to bring you all of them? Are you serious? I've found 2 of the 3 now, and I literally cannot find the third. Like, they tell you it's in the Hebra region, and so I've looked all over the mountains and like around the edge of the map and all the crazy little, like, I have no idea where it is. I could look it up super easily, and I don't know what my breaking point is going to be where I'm like, all right, I just want this off my list of quests. But that's most recently that's been one of my frequent, like, I'll just walk through the mountains for a while and try and find this thing.
Yep.
All right, any other like broad thoughts? We got deep into some tangents there, but I think that's part of the greatness of the game is there's just so much that you can really dive into.
Yeah, how about those labyrinths?
Oh man, I haven't done the one. I don't even know how to describe which one. I've done 2 of them.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. The 3 that I know of, at least, there's
Yeah.
one. Sorry if I spoil one for you, but there's one in the top right corner of the map. Did you do that one?
Is that the one that you have to like fly to and then there's guardians in it?
I think so, yeah. Although I think I only encountered one guardian.
Maybe yeah, maybe it's just one. I don't know.
Yeah, you do have to fly to it.
Yeah.
And then there's one in the north, not all the way on top left, but like on the left side of the map in that mountainous area.
Okay, that's the one I haven't done.
Okay, and then there's one in the desert.
Yes, that was the first one I found.
Yeah, anyway, my comment on those is like you can see that they did a good job of not letting you just like look at the map and figure out where to go,
Right.
because you have to like go inside walls and things like that. But on the other hand, at a certain point, you're just like wandering around,
Yeah.
hoping to find the entrance in the wall that you need to go into to get to the end. It's like maybe a few more hints or something that I could figure out and not just wander around.
Yeah, it's also featureless in there. You're essentially just running around the exact same or you potentially could be running around the exact same square and have no, like, if you weren't paying enough attention.
Right.
Those are have you completed all of those 3?
Yes.
Okay. Those are the ones that give you the armor with that raise your attack, right?
Yes.
I should do the third one so that I can get the third bit of armor.
By the way, don't tell me the answer to this, but in order to upgrade that armor, you need like I forgot what it's called, but you need the horn of something
Oh
that
yeah.
I just don't know what it is. I don't know where to get it. I just keep attacking things with horns in hopes of it being it.
Yeah. I haven't done much upgrading of that armor. There are a couple sets that I have that all of the, or maybe not all, I don't know. Maybe that's several of the places that sell sets of armor that have like effects, I'll just like buy because I like to keep a pretty decent amount of money. So like when I come across stuff like that, I'll just buy it just to have.
Right.
And then a lot of my recent playing has also been working on getting the stuff to upgrade that.
All right. Well, we somehow talked about this game for an hour.
I mean, that makes sense to me. And we got into it pretty quickly too, relatively speaking, for us.
Yeah, I was gonna make a comment, but I didn't want to derail us. Like last week, it took us like over 10 minutes before we got to the main topic. Today we did it in like 6.
Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty good.
All right, so cool. Any final thoughts?
If you have a Switch and don't have this game, you should get this game.
What's wrong with you?
Right. What have you been doing with your Switch? Probably Smash, but I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my only thought.
Yeah, I honestly, like, people have called this one of the best games of all time, and I can see why. This is an amazing.
I definitely agree.
Not that I've played very many games, but this is an excellent game.
Yes, I'm in that same, like, I can't point to a lot of bad games that this is better than. I just know that, like, it's really good to play, so I assume that, not every other game is. That's what makes this one good.
How about Getting Over It?
Getting Over It is actually very well designed, in my opinion. It's hugely frustrating, but...
Yeah, it may be well designed, but is it fun?
No, I don't think it's fun, but I do think that it sucks you into play a lot.
That's so weird.
If you're one of those people like I am that, like, I think this is what drives me to do a lot of those side quests in Breath of the Wild is somebody's like, hey, there's a thing that you could do. And I'm like, well, okay, it's time to do that.
Yes, I'm doing that then.
Yeah. So with Getting Over It, it's just like, hey, look at this hill that you could climb with a hammer. And I'm like, yeah, why not? We'll spend a couple hours doing that today. And we'll just fall back down to the beginning at the end.
Yep. All right, so I guess those are our closing thoughts on this game.
Yep. Next week for our in-depth review of Getting Over It. You've heard a teaser.
I will never play that game. If you want an in-depth review of that game, just watch. What?
You've not played it at all?
I have never played it, no.
Oh, wow. I thought maybe you had tried it on my computer.
No, I've watched you play it, and I've watched Donkey's video on it.
Yeah.
But, yeah, that's pretty much all I need.
Yeah, that's fair.
All right, so next week, we probably should have talked about this beforehand, but...
Yeah.
So obviously we'll have an update on our speed run.
Yeah, we'll have the final update, the final results. We should make an award, by the way. It should become one of our, not that this should be the only award, but it should become one of our, like, weekly things. Like, Nathan no longer owes me $1. I am the speedrunning champion.
Right.
Etc.
I feel like at some point it's just gonna be, hi, I'm Alex, and This is our podcast, Joel. All right, so everyone, here's our weekly laundry list of things we have to say every week. Just like 5 minutes. Nathan owes me $1. No longer owes me $1. I'm a speedrunning champ. Nathan can eat a hot dog the fastest. Like, it's like 100 random things that we decided to see every week.
I, for one, am looking forward to that being the end game of our podcast, where we don't have a topic at all anymore. We just do a thing during the week. Add it to the list of things.
Let's say this. These things will organically grow out of our podcast.
Yes, we will not force it.
Just things that we decide to say every week. Once we reach 100 things, our podcast is shut down.
Yes.
We will not make another podcast.
All right. I agree. So are we at 1 or 3? Do we count the sports update and the song?
No. We are at 1 now. Once the speed running thing is over, we'll have 2.
Okay. All right. So at this pace, we'll be able to make about 1,000 episodes of the podcast, which should be more than enough.
Way more than enough.
Yeah, so by the time we get our 100th thing, we deserve to be shut down.
I don't even think we could make 1,000. I mean, it would take. I guess we could. It would take 20 years.
That's not like super unreasonable, just like kind of out there.
Yeah, it's like I just feel like anyone who's listening to our podcast now is not going to want to listen to our podcast in 20 years.
Hi,
I'm 40-year-old middle-aged Alex.
I kind of disagree with that, honestly. I think that only the people that are listening to it now will want to listen in 20 years
Yeah,
because, like, what are we going to add for the new kids in 20 years? Like, you know, like, I feel like our audience will always be people kind of like us.
Right.
So.
Our audience. I just want to say that I very much love how we pretend that people listen to this podcast.
It's a lot of it's way more fun than being like, so we just talk to each other once a week, but we pretend that it's for other people.
Yeah. It's like we still wanted to stay friends, but we didn't. Yeah. We were too awkward to just like be like, let's hang out over Skype every week. So we're like, let's do a podcast every week that people will listen to.
Yeah, honestly, it's way more fun this way.
I definitely agree with that.
I think we've found ways to, you know, be more interesting than we may have otherwise done. So.
Yep.
Yeah, so a little bit of reflection on the idea of podcasting to wrap up with this week.
All right.
That's good.
All right, so thanks for listening, everybody. I'm Alex.
I'm Alex.
And this has been Joel.